You can see details about the stage here, but if you're like me and you have global reading issue, you don't want to read this, so let me summarize. Hello everyone, it's Broku here. Welcome to my Babel guide. There's a lot to cover in this guide, so I'll try and get through it as quickly as possible. Let's get straight into it. Starting off, you want to decide how many rewards you're going to aim for on your account. Most of you, if you've been playing for a couple of months or more, should be able to get all of the rewards that matter. Anything above this point here, 225 points, is all just trophies. This will do nothing for your account, except prove that you got the trophy. If you're only after the rewards, then you're gonna need 225 points total. This can be achieved quite easily. There are many ways you can break this down. Let me show you one of the ways I broke it down. First up, we have Camus. He cleared this stage and did 94 points. That was it. No second clear. Second, we had Rosetta. If you do this Rosetta clear, just make sure that you clear her on the easiest stage and you come down and you tick this one on. As you can see, that gives you 1 point. So if you don't make this mistake, you will actually have all the rewards. Anyway, on to the last one. You can see I cleared this stage twice, and these are the teams I used. Here you can see we have 82 points and 50 points. And that's it. Babel is cleared. We have enough points. You can see 226 points. That would have been 227 if I had activated the single point on Rosetta. So, let's get into which one you should aim for. That will be heavily dependent on your account. If you have a newer account, then you probably just want to scrape by and get as many rewards as possible. If you have a mid-range account, maybe you've been playing for about 3 to 6 months, maybe you can aim for this trophy. If you've been playing a bit longer, this trophy. If you're a spender and you have an account that is about 6 months, then you can probably aim for this trophy, but it might be a bit of a stretch depending on how much you're spending. If you've been playing over that time, say maybe 9 months, this should be achievable on most accounts. Might be a bit of a meld, it might be a bit of a challenge, it just depends on where your account is at. And again, you can break these down in lots of different ways. So for example, you can see I've achieved all the rewards and I only did 4 stages of Babel. I didn't even touch the other stages. There are a total of 9 stages which you can complete. So another way you could break this down is instead of doing 4 stages and getting at least 56 points per stage, you can actually break it down between all 9 stages if you would like, and you can do 25 points per stage. It just depends how many constructs you have built up. One of the main things you'll want to do when approaching Babel is you select your team and whatever difficulty you select for whatever you're aiming for. As you're selecting your team, if you don't have a construct that is strong enough, for example, like this live here, just come in and swap memories from someone else. You can see these memories are not leveled up, so let's steal memories from someone else who doesn't need them. Maybe Hannah would be a better fit here, but obviously you'll have to work with what you have. And now as you can see, Liv is much stronger and should be much more built to handle the challenge of Babel. Now coming into here, this is where you will see your buffs and your debuffs, but I'll go into that a bit later. If you want the other breakdowns, I'll quickly run through those. To get this trophy here, you will need a total of 300 points. You can do all 9 stages, you can do 34 points each, or you can do 6 stages and achieve 50 points on each of those stages, whichever those stages are. I found Rosetta was the most difficult stage this time, mainly because it takes forever to get through her HP, and we'll go through that strategy in a little bit as well. But basically what I did was I picked the 2 easiest stages and the easiest constructs. Camus is by far the best of the Transcendents for me, so I used him and I got way above the points that I needed. Maybe you'll use a weaker construct. Let's say you need 50 points per stage. So if I got 90 points with Camus, and then maybe I have a weaker construct that cannot make the full 50, but maybe they can make 25. It's still going to be a total of 50 points per stage anyway. It'll work itself out. Now, if we're going for this mid trophy here, then you need a total of 450 points. This can be obtained by either 50 points per level, or if you don't do the full 9 levels and you only want to do 6 levels, then it's 75 points per level. If you are going for the final trophy at 600 points, then you will need to get 67 points per stage. Otherwise, if you want to be really hardcore, you can get 100 points per 6 stages. But at that point, you might as well just go for the entire Babel score, the full Babel score. Max Babel score. So now that we've got that sorted, and you know which reward you're gonna aim for, moving along, this first fight was fairly easy. Basically, the aim of the game is to come in and put overclock difficulty. I'm gonna show as if I was aiming for one of the higher badges. So you would always put this on high. You put as many buffs on as you can handle. Usually I tend to avoid the HP buff, and this one here, because this pretty much guarantees you'll be one shot and there's lots of attacks, so you'll run out of dodge gauge easy. And this one here just stacks on so much HP that I literally get bored and I find myself zoning out, and the next minute I'm dead. So you can see details about the stage here, but if you're like me and you have global reading issue, you don't want to read this. So let me summarize. Basically, you'll come in here, you'll start the stage. Let's start with, say, Selena. We've already used Camus. We'll add her. Don't forget to equip a pet. It makes life a little bit easier if you have one. You can pick a buff. For the moment, it looks like we can pick both of them. Select which one works best for you. There's no right or wrong answer. And if you can select all of them, why not? Once the level has loaded, you'll see that we have 2 surfers and a corrupted construct. So basically, you want to kill this corrupted construct. And you just need to kill these surfers afterwards. That's it. Look how much his HP has dropped already. The construct will spawn again, and you just keep killing him as he pops up, and as long as you do that, you will be fine. You can see the spawn timer here. See, he's just popped back into existence. You will need manual lock-on for this, as you can see. Otherwise, it will be quite a nightmare. But I suppose you can get by with auto lock-on. So that's the first level of Babel. Let's walk through the second level. The second level is Rosetta. I got quite bored here. You can see it was funny. I had Plume, but she wasn't good enough on her own. I actually had to get Lotus to help. I couldn't clear it. That's how tanky Rosetta is. Anyway, select whatever difficulty you prefer, put your buffs and debuffs on. This stage was very mean with its debuffs, and I opted to not have most of them on. You'll see things like no dodge. This is basically like 1 dodge and that's it, your meter is empty. And then of course, even more HP, which she already has enough of. Bloodlust will ensure that once they get to low HP, it's basically a one-shot for your characters, and many more annoying debuffs on this stage. The gimmick here is essentially Rosetta will be so tanky that you need to kill her helper in order to deal any major damage to her. So once you've picked your constructs, I know this is not an ideal team, but we're not going to be clearing. This is just for the tutorial. You pick a buff. You can only select one here, whichever one you think. If you think you don't need this shield, then great. Use some extra damage. Begin the mission, and then there you go. You can see there's Rosetta and 1 helper. All you need to do, see, there we go, 1 dodge and you're out of dodge. Quite nasty debuffs. All you need to do is kill this helper. Once that's done, you can then focus on killing Rosetta. But as you can see, her HP barely drops at all. So it's pretty essential to kill this helper so you can actually damage her. And then moving on to the third and final stage. This was probably the easiest one, in my opinion. Either this or the surfers. Depends on your playstyle. This is quite a mixed team, it doesn't even work well together, but you can see we still scored really well. So basically you'll need to come in here, pick your team, pick your buffs and debuffs, start the mission. Depending on which buffs and debuffs you have selected, one of them actually enables the boss to heal. You can try and get rid of these guys. I ignored them, but basically don't get surrounded by them. And then if you've got the debuff where the boss heals in these circles, make sure the boss stays out of these circles. That's the main part. Otherwise, you can just hack and slash your way to victory. Now, if you guys want to see me do these levels and which buffs and debuffs I end up picking, you'll have to wait until Babel is actually out, because I'm not clearing it twice. I'm not doing it in the beta and on my main account. But on my main account, I will be aiming for this badge, and I will probably achieve 650, I'm guessing, but we'll see. I'm not here to melt, I'm here for a challenge and to have a good time. If there are any questions, you can either check out my Discord or leave them in the comments. Either way, if you want to see when I clear my Babel and get an in-person demonstration, you can head over to my Twitch and I'll stream it there when it's out in a few days. I hope this guide was helpful. I'll see you all next video. Stuck with something else? Why don't you check out one of my other guides here?